Hello everyone and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. I took the day off yesterday, Friday. It was an all singing, dancing kind of a day, but I'm back on a gloriously sunny Saturday afternoon with the Housewives Tarot on the tarot table. We're going to have a bit of fun today with the Housewives Tarot, some light relief. Fun at the expense of With Love Meghan, because the ratings are in from Netflix and they are bad. And we are also hearing that this possibly is one of the reasons why there was that balcony scene in London. That was not so secret, of course, the balcony scene. A play for money from Pa speculated. We've looked at all of that. But as people are discussing the financial plight, the possible or alleged financial plight of the Parkles and the giant flop that is With Love Meghan, rumours are swirling from, started by a commenter on one of the gossip sites. Rumours are swirling that allegedly Meghan was not only intoxicated on set quite often, but also rather lighter-fingered, to the extent that she helped herself to cases of wine. They disappeared, they went home with her, and also props and other things. Now, this was a rented set, someone else's very lovely home in Montecito, not a mudslide mansion. Rather awkward for Netflix if so treasured, objet keep disappearing from the set. So according to this rumor, and it is a giant rumor, they had to make sure that the set was never left empty, unoccupied. Someone always had to be there, and also people had to be around to shove chairs at Madame when she was struggling to maintain her equilibrium. So a rather interesting little tidbit. As I say, it's a big fat bit of a rumour. We're going to explore the story though. We're going to have a look and see what condition she was in while she was filming, because there was quite a lot of day drinking, as many people observed at the time. We know she likes her rosé and her bubbles and her tig and her whatever else, and well, who doesn't really? But so there's that. And then we're going to ask about the alleged helping herself to things from the set. She has prior, as far as that goes, those famous shoes from that Reitman's shoot in Canada all those years ago that she just walked out in, allegedly, and still is seen occasionally wearing. And there's also been rumours over the years that she was not averse to helping herself to objets belonging to the royal family. Rumour, of course, scurrilous rumours. So we're going to have to say allegedly, and we're going to have to remind you that this is tarot and it's for fun and entertainment, and it is all speculation in all my opinion. We look at the energy around these rumours, and of course there is a disclaimer in the box below. So let's see what's going on. Condition she was in. Did she help herself to things that maybe she should not have? And does she have a problem with this kind of behavior, and where is this going to go? As I said, rather embarrassing for Netflix if there is any hint of truth to this rumor. Let's see what's going on. And plaster is on me, not plastered. Meghan allegedly plastered. My plaster is from a plain bully with Tess and over exuberant jumping. So there we are. King of Swords in reverse. King of Swords is lawyery type people. People who are even people like security type people, government type people, those kinds of people. In reverse, there might be problems with situations where you've got to keep a sharp eye on things. That's coming through very clearly with that King of Swords in reverse. That maybe there was some kind of behind the scenes, not deal, but plan put in place to handle this kind of behavior. And as I say, it's been rumoured, long rumoured, ever since we've heard about Madame. We have heard these kinds of stories. And so it can be that that information has been around for some time, passed around. Intelligence types. I'm not saying that there was Secret Service watching with binoculars and spy cams and things while she was filming in Montecito. I'm not saying that, but it's kind of giving me the idea that this is chat that has gone around in certain circles, certain kind of maybe security circles, those kinds of circles. It's an interesting card. It's quite a sus card, so I have to say we're going to put the big old allegedly sign on and have it flashing loudly through this reading. That's our underlying energy. Shall we just say the situation we're dealing with Love Maiden, the set, Page of Wands in reverse. That's a bad news card. That's bad press, bad PR, and quite negative. It's also a little bit adventurous. The Page of Wands is always looking for something exciting to try. It's quite infantile, immature energy. Could be a bit of a thrill seeker, our Page of Wands. And in reverse, the thrill seeking could be rather negative and could cause rather bad stories to come out and to go around. Pages are all about communication. That's what they do. And well, there we go. We have this rumor, and we have had many similar rumors. So even if this is just made up BS, just because there are people who are going to think, we've heard this kind of thing before, and maybe it's not that far-fetched, shall we say. So let's ask first of all the condition that she was in, this rumor. And it's not the first time I've heard these kinds of stories, and I think I have actually read on this before. Was she a bit under the weather on a set when she was filming, shall we say? Oh, I've got death in reverse. Ooh. Okay, death is rather toxic, salmonella, yeah. Death is about change and transformation, and being flexible is not really the right word. Being willing to let go of something that's very negative and to move through a process of radical transformation, rebirth. In reverse, it's clinging on to something that you should not cling on to. And it can have the energy of clinging on to toxic things like drugs, alcohol, behaviors that are negative, not only situations and people, but those kinds of things can also show up in that death energy. Death is ruled by Pluto. Pluto rules the underworld, psychology, deep delving, deep digging, deep analysis. When it's upright, the death card means you are willing to do that kind of work. When it's in reverse, it means you're not willing to do that kind of work, and you might be prey or prone to behavior that is rather unconscious, projected behavior. It has a bit of a moon energy. I'm answering a question that hasn't been asked here, because this is a question: was she somewhat inebriated on occasion on set? And plenty of wine was flowing. I'm sure there were moments when the wine was flowing and they were all celebrating and all having a good time. So I'm not judging that. I'm asking if it's a problem. And I'm getting a card that tells me there might be a problem that is not being faced. There's a reluctance to acknowledge that there is a problem. Long-winded answer, but that's what's coming through for me energetically. And of course, I am just reading energy here and expressing my opinion as a tarot reader. So let's get to the question about helping herself to things that maybe she shouldn't have. Was there that kind of behavior on set? And I have the Knight of Wands in reverse. Our little Page of Wands now has grown up a bit. He's matured a bit. Interesting progression in here. I said with the Page of Wands, a little thrill seeker there, and it's juvenile energy, it's immature energy, might have started off small at some stage in her life. I'm speculating, I'm reading energy, and might have got a little more serious because now we're Knight of Wands in reverse. It's progression from knight, from page to knight. So that's the first thing that's it's telling me. Cards in reverse, always a bit sus, always a bit dodgy, always in their negative energy. The other thing that the Knight of Wands tells me is that it's a Harry energy very often for me as a reader, and his energy is showing up in reverse here. It might have been either behavior that happened when he wasn't around, and I don't think he was around a lot on that set because we hardly saw him. I think he only showed up right at the very end. And so that, but also could be something that's rather embarrassing for him. That maybe people mentioned to him, whispered in his ear, there is a bit of a problem. Oops, can you find the, for some reason I'm going to say snuff box. Who on earth has such a thing in their worlds, in their life? But can you bring it back, or can you get someone to send it back? There's that kind of energy in this reading. I'm speculating. It's all allegedly. I'm testing the energy of a wild bit of rumor on a gossip site. So just so we're all very, very clear about that. Is there a problem? Is there a problem with either of these things that we're reading on here in this little tarot reading? Is there a problem? I got the Knight of Pentacles. That's a steady card. It's a slow but steady card. Dependable, reliable. It tells me that it's okay, possibly while Harry is around. It could be the kind of behavior, and I say that again because of that Knight of Wands in reverse, it could be the kind of behavior that becomes problematic if he's not around. If she feels vulnerable, anxious, and I'm not a mental health expert and I'm not diagnosing, I'm speculating, I'm reading the energy of tarot cards. It's fine if her world is fine. And it's always this kind of behavior is triggered by anxiety, by concerns about the world, the marriage, the world, the environment that the person is in, what their future holds, all that kind of stuff. So I think for the vast majority of time there is no problem. Knight of Pentacles upright tells me most of the time it's contained, it's fine. I think it's a stress response. My inexpert opinion, again, just reading energy. Where are we heading with this? If there is a problem, hypothetically speaking, where are we heading? Or where is she heading? Two of Cups in reverse. Breakup card. Splitsville. Could be Splitsville with Harry, could be Splitsville with Netflix. It could get too embarrassing for Netflix having to deal with this kind of thing. The source of the rumor is quite insistent that the rumor is true and it comes from various sources. I can't confirm that. I'm just repeating what is being said. It could be that it becomes something that it's just a little bit too embarrassing, a little bit too awkward, but it could equally be that for Harry. Too embarrassing, too awkward. Interesting that a lip reader has analysed some of the famous moments in the royal appearances in the recent years, and there was quite an embarrassing moment between Harry and Meghan when she was urging him to do something that he was not comfortable with at all. We have no idea what, but it was at one of those Commonwealth ceremonies. It was back in 2018. And he was taken aback at what she was insisting he did and said, "You realise it's going to end everything?" And she was like, "I know and I don't care." I'm repeating that story because of this energy in here of Two of Cups in reverse, which is a breakup, a separation, coming because of behaviour possibly that is just too much. it's too much even for someone like Harry to excuse or overlook. I'm getting quite a strong energy in this reading, and again I have to say it is just an energy reading of behavior that at moments is difficult to overlook. That's how it's reading for me, and thank you for watching this reading, and I'll see you on the next one.